jury?
Yes, I'm Daniel Dawson.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Daniel?
I'm from here. I'm from Midland Center. I used to go to college up at Calkins College, but that's kind of been put on hold.
How did you know Vanessa Sullivan?
Vanessa and I were friends from Calkins College. We had the same major, and we were both pre-law, so we became pretty good friends. We were in a lot of the same classes, and we hung out after class.
What were you doing with Vanessa on the night of September 24th, 2009?
It was Vanessa's 21st birthday, and she invited me to come home with her and to celebrate with some of her friends from high school.
So what did you do to celebrate?
We drove down here in the afternoon, Friday afternoon, and then Saturday evening I met up with her and her friend at Chuggy's. It's just a bar in the middle.
And about what time did you get to Chuggy's, Miss Dawson?
I got there at 2. One of my family members dropped me off. I don't have a car here in Midland Center.
And about what time did you leave that night?
We left at 12:45.
About 10 hours, right?
Yeah.
Danielle, I have to ask you, were you drinking that night?
I was.
Do you remember how many drinks you had?
Yes, I do. I had 10. I stuck to a drink per hour.
How did you feel when you were walking out to that parking lot?
I felt fine. I felt just like I did when I walked in. I was sober.
And Miss Dawson, would you have gotten in that car behind the wheel if you thought you could be endangering the lives of your friends?
No, absolutely not.
Now that we've talked a little bit about being at Chuggy's in the night, I want to talk about the road and the conditions. Could you tell us a little bit about the conditions of the road that night?
When we left the bar, it was just kind of drizzling. But when I turned right onto Canyon Road, it started pouring. It was bad.
What about the conditions inside the car? What was that like?
It was pretty loud. Vanessa and Taylor, they had a Chatterbox CD in it. It was up pretty high, and they were singing, but more than that, it was just the rain on the outside of the car. It was just, I couldn't hear it.
I want to talk about the accident now, Miss Dawson. Could you tell the jury what happened?
I turned right onto Canyon Road, and then as I was driving, there's usually not any lights on the road, but off the right-hand side, I saw a light, and it turns out it was a front porch light. It's not normally there. It caught my eye. And when I looked back into the middle of the road, there was a deer, and it was running across the road into my lane, and I was in a small car, so I didn't want to hit it, and so I pulled onto the shoulder of the road, and I drove on the shoulder around the big curve.
So when you saw that deer, you drove off the road to avoid it. What was your state of mind?
The road was really slick, so I didn't want to just swerve around it and get back on the road. That's why I stayed on the shoulder, or around the curve. And after the curve, that's when I tried to get back on into my lane.
And what happened then?
I turned to get back on the road, and I felt the traction go out, and I started hydroplaning. And I tried to turn the wheel. I tried to get back in my lane of traffic. I tried everything, and nothing worked. The car just kept spinning, and it finally stopped, and the airbag went off.
What did you do, Miss Dawson, after your car hydroplaned and impacted? There was that airbag in your face.
When I realized what happened, I got out of the car and I saw that we hit a telephone pole and then there was a tree, and I started screaming for help. Taylor wasn't saying anything, and neither was Vanessa, and I wanted someone there with me.
Did help come?
Yeah. This man named Mr. Bennett came in, and he said that he called the ambulance and 911, and he said that help was on the way, and he just talked to me.
And what happened after the police came?
I spoke with a police officer. He wanted to know what happened, so I told him about the deer and then the road was spinning, and then the paramedics got there.
And Miss Dawson, at what point did you find out about Vanessa?
The paramedics, they pulled her out of the car, and she wasn't moving. And then they just put her on the stretcher, and they pulled the sheet over her head.
Miss Dawson, I'll read this. I know this is hard for you, but we just have to get through a few more questions. After the paramedics got there, were you medically examined?
No, they were focused on Taylor.
So, after the paramedics were there and you found out about Vanessa, what happened next?
That's when Vanessa's mom showed up.
And what did the district attorney do in regards to her daughter at that point?
She kept asking where Vanessa was, and they pointed to the stretcher. And she looked at me, and she just started screaming.
And what did the district attorney start screaming at you, Ms. Dawson?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Your Honor, this is an exception to hearsay. Pursuant to 8032, this is an excited utterance.
Ms. Fox?
Regardless of, this is a statement coming from Vanessa Sullivan's mother, which would be a statement made out of court, and whether or not that and even if not that objection, I would add to relevance.
You're objecting to relevance now?
Hearsay and relevance.
Okay, I'm going to overrule the hearsay objection. What's your relevance objection?
Whether or not Vanessa Sullivan's mother was screaming or whatever mental state she was is relevant to the state, to the court case today.
Your Honor, the fact that Ms. Sullivan was there and what she was screaming is relevant because it goes to Ms. Dawson's state of mind at the time of the accident. It goes to, as well it goes to bias on the part of the state in charging Ms. Dawson for murder.
Your Honor, may I respond? Whether or not Ms. Sullivan made these statements does not go to prove Daniel Dawson's state of mind. It only goes to prove Mrs. Sullivan's state of mind and whether or not this affected, and if it is to prove a bias, I would argue that this still should not be admissible, that it would be more prejudicial than getting the benefit from this testimony.
I'm sorry, what was the statement, counsel? What was the statement?
The statement is from the district attorney regarding to Ms. Dawson regarding the loss of her daughter.
What was the exact wording of the
She says she threatens my client and she told her that she was going to ruin her life and try to send her to jail for the rest of her life.
Okay, I'm gonna allow the statement and your objections overruled.
Now, Ms. Dawson, what was the district attorney screaming at you?
At first, she just kept saying it was my fault. And then she just started saying she was going to put me in jail for the rest of my life. And that she was going to make my life a living hell.